Today on the show, it's Comics Q&A, the monthly show where you ask me questions about comics and I answer them. Chris Riviera Rise on Facebook says, why did you defend the new Teen Titans show that is clearly garbage and for younger, random kids generation, but bash on Young Justice? What's wrong with it besides the excuse about the name? Your tone seems very pointed right now. First off, the Teen Titans cartoon was not garbage, as you put it, it was just bad in your opinion. For more information on how to word things as your opinion and not as fact, please watch my comics versus anime video. I liked the Teen Titans cartoon. It wasn't a 100% adaptation, but you could at least say, okay, that's from this issue, that's from that issue, and that's totally original, and it works. But when it came to the Young Justice cartoon, there were about 1,000 changes that were just insulting to the source material. Now, for an example of an insulting thing, Secret was a breakout star from the Young Justice comics. She was an amazing character to read, and okay, we didn't really see much of her after the Young Justice comics, but that's okay because she was the star of that series. Then, in the Young Justice cartoon, not only do they change her iconic design, they reduce her to a one-off character in one episode and give her this really crappy storyline. Then there's the whole Artemis and Arrowette situation. Now, Artemis in the comics was actually a villain who was raised with villains, and she was Arrowette's nemesis. Arrowette, on the other hand, was a very, very interesting character because her mother used to be the original Arrowette. And her mother used to pressure her daughter into being a hero and doing these hero activities, and Arrowette never really wanted to do them in the first place. Having that ex-hero mother, current hero daughter dynamic is something that we hadn't really seen before then, and we haven't seen done properly again since then. My whole thing with the Young Justice cartoon is that the Young Justice comics are some of the best comics that I have ever read in my life. And when you see that peak of the mountain, when you see how good that peak of the mountain can be, and then something comes along trying to use the same name, trying to say, yeah, we're an adaptation, and it gives up before it even gets to the foot of the mountain, it's got no right using the title Young Justice. It didn't even try to be Young Justice. At least with the Teen Titans cartoon, it was adapting the Teen Titans comic book series. With Young Justice, really, it was unrecognizable. And don't give me the crap of, well, it's an Earth 16, so it's okay for it to be different. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. I could understand changing Young Justice a little bit, like to modernize it or to make it appeal to a much wider audience. But when you change it to the point that it's totally unrecognizable, that's not cool. That's insulting. And just to clarify, if the show wasn't going by the title Young Justice, I'd probably like it a lot. But because it's going by the title Young Justice, that can mean there's never going to be an adaptation of the Young Justice comics that was so good. They remain to be some of the best comics that I have ever read. If you like the Young Justice cartoon, that is fine. I don't judge you for it. Like, I don't expect you to judge me for my opinions, but just don't expect me to like it when I was brought up reading that comic book series, and to this day, it's one of the best comic book series that I have ever read. Moran Abelia says, if you have the chance to write a story arc for X-Men or Teen Titans, who would you choose to write for, and what is your idea for the story arc? Are you Korean? I just asked that because I have a Korean friend named Moran, and she says it's a very, very Korean name. Well, the Teen Titans would be my choice because it is one of my life dreams to write for the Teen Titans one day. That's definitely one of the goals that I have in mind. But as for my ideas for the story arcs, I'm not really happy about sharing ideas in case I actually end up using them in my future. But I do want to clarify, I wouldn't write the Titans as the Teen Titans. I would write them as the Titans, because the Titans have always been at their best when they've been late teens and young adults all in the same team because they've got mentors there, but the mentors can kind of learn from the slightly younger people, but they're not too young, so it'll be weird to learn from them. I guess my whole concept that I've got going in my mind, and it's kind of loose in the way that I'm going to describe it, so it'll be very vague, but society tells us certain things are okay, but they're not okay. And my idea would be for these teenagers or these young adults to find out about these things and to realize for themselves, okay, yes, this is not okay, and for them to fight against it. Dylan Sewell says, if you could pick one young hero from DC to get their own title, who would it be and why? Tim Drake as Red Robin would be the very obvious choice here. I really enjoyed the Red Robin series, and I really don't know why it wasn't brought over to the New 52 because that was a really stupid decision. Abby Pie says, if you could bring back one DC character, who would it be? There is no way I could choose just one. At this point in time, I'm kind of leaning towards Power Boy because I'm thinking on adding him to one of my costumes for the Becoming Robin series, so I've been reading a lot about him. I'm kind of into his character at the moment. I would like to see Wendy and Marvin come back, so Marvin could be killed off and Wendy could become Proxy, but for her to become Proxy, we would need Oracle to come back, which would mean Barbara would have to take one for the team and take a bullet to the spine again, which would bring Oracle back, and I'd be very happy about Oracle coming back too. So probably that second one, because we would get two characters back. Prime Dragon says, we all know that you love the Teen Titans, but what's your favorite Marvel comic? And would you like to see them do another Marvel and DC crossover, but bigger? Just to clarify, I don't love the Teen Titans. I love the Titans. I love the whole Titans umbrella. There's much more to the Titans than just the Teen Titans. My favorite Marvel comic at the moment is probably Ms.Marvel. I find it very good and refreshing, and it doesn't feel like a cash grab like everything else that's going on at Marvel at the moment. And it really pains me to say that, but a lot of things that are coming out at the moment just seem like a cash grab from Marvel and DC. As for favorite Marvel comic of all time, it would either have to be the Dazzler series from back in the 80s or the Young Avengers. Probably the Young Avengers because I related to that a lot more. Then as for them doing a crossover now, no, because that's a bad idea. When Marvel and DC did their original crossover, they were doing very similar things with their universes. Now Marvel and DC aren't even thinking about doing similar things. They're both off in their own directions. Pride the Homunculus 2 says, favorite ever costume from DC or Marvel? I'm surprised that Pride the Homunculus 1 was taken. So my favorite ever costume from both DC and Marvel goes to Most Excellent Superbat. His costume is so tacky, he looks like a hot mess, and he's so narcissistic and thinks that he is amazing, even though his costume is such a hot mess, and I love that. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. Leave a comment down below with your question for next month's comics Q&A. And also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more comics Q&A. And also don't forget to support the show by checking out my Patreon, like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my gaming channel. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Comics, and it is super effective.